Yes, we have some bonus old guys podcast for you as we talk about the NFC championship game, the AFC championship game, but more importantly, we talk with today's panel. And JT Hayes, or just JT, where do you think Uncle T is? Because he's not going to be on the program tonight.
I'm sad that Uncle T is not here, just because it's always so great to talk to him. Mm-hmm. But I understand that he's got real life responsibilities that really usurp the importance of this podcast. And it's sad to admit that, but I'm happy that Spread is back. I was concerned about Spread. I mean, when we go these long periods of time without seeing Spread, without talking to Spread, you always wonder, right? You wonder if you're ever going to fucking come back. I mean, and now we know the answer, at least for now, is that he's here. He's here. He's losing weight. He's talking to his girlfriend. So things are looking up.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. And you know what I was thinking, JT? I think we can actually, I'm building my lineup right now on the show because we're not waiting for news, right? I mean, it's not like a normal Sunday where, hey, you know, we can say, hey, if then, right? But I'm going to wait until I watch JT Hayes on Sunday morning before I really lock in these guys. I'm going to build a lineup tonight. I think we know what's going on, and I can't wait to do it.
The last time you did that, I don't think it finished very well.
Okay.
It's a small sample.
Yeah.
It's a small sample.
I don't know about that. But I will tell you this. Not waiting for news, not dealing with news, not dealing with the Detroit Pistons and Dwayne Casey putting out their starting lineup 3 minutes before lock.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious and glorious and every reason to not play NBA, and yet we still do it every day. There is edge. It just disappears sometimes when these coaches are allowed to do this stuff. And it's been it's like every injury now is a game time decision. I mean, yesterday, the day after the Cavaliers played the Knicks, they said it looks like Donovan Mitchell's going to miss some time, right? Figured 2-3 games. Late in the day today, he's a game time decision. Why? Why are we doing this? Spread, do you know? I mean, I know, and they're not even on a back-to-back tonight. I know the coaches hate the back-to-backs. I know they like thumbing their nose at the NBA on the back-to-backs. Particularly Kerr does this. Malone did this for the first time in a while. Mm-hmm. And we're going to sit everybody because we hate the idea of playing a basketball game 2 days in a row, and we have to make a short flight to do that. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and the idea, right, was that as they got into bed with gambling, right, because you see the FanDuel lines running across the game. Yeah. Oh, well, you know. So yeah, but the funny thing was, what was FanDuel's incentive to push them to get the news out there sooner? I think they're loving how it is. Yeah, even yesterday, right, Holden, up to lock show. I mean, you guys just basically said TJ McConnell, and we're gonna have to stay on the air because even though the slate's locked, no one's course.
It's just a different beast, man. It's just a different beast. In all honesty, I love the old FanDuel days of football, and you couldn't late swap. You just put your lineup in, and that was that.
That was scores.
I love that.
First of all, that might be the solution. They just went back to non-late swap for MMA, but that was really more of a situation where they had tech issues, and they just decided it was easier to go back to the old way than fixing them. You'd have scores in NBA and DraftKings of like 170s winning tournaments if you take that away, which I'm fine with because, listen, I mean, this is insane. It would be fine if there was a playbook that the teams adhered to, that the league and the teams bought in. It's the coaches they can't control. The coaches have a lot of power. They make a lot of money until they don't. But I think it's just a situation where if you have 30 minutes to get your starters out. They're out 30 minutes before. Fine. If you have an injury report, it's got to be midday. They're just playing with the system now. They obviously, it seems to me, and this is me thinking from a business perspective, I'm a coach. I get paid whatever, $2, $3, $5 million a year. And you're going to make me do more work and decide who I'm going to start and decided, put out an injury report. So I'm just going to say, screw it. Nobody's watching. I mean, take tonight, for example, right? The Clippers and the Spurs in the late window, outside of Spurs fans and whoever pays for, Clippers tickets, no one's watching that fucking game. If it's not for gambling, if it's not for DFS, no one cares about it. And these coaches just don't seem to be with the program.
To me, also, it just makes going to a game just crazy.
Oh,
I'm surprised the attendance is still so high, right? I mean, you saw the one of the kid that flew to see Jimmy Butler, and he looked almost in tears, and I heard that Butler did the right thing and gave him a signed jersey, right, and made it up to him. But if that didn't go viral, it doesn't happen. And hey, if it's going to see your favorite team, and you can root for the laundry no matter what, but this idea of seeing the opposing players. I remember when I was a kid, we had the Kings season tickets, and that's basically what we drafted on because the Kings were terrible. So, we had a little lottery because we shared them with I think it was 5 or 6 families, right? And whoever got one always picked the Bulls to see Jordan, right? And then,
sure,
but you can't even do that anymore.
But Holden, just before you go in and respond, Holden, because I think you made a great point on the show yesterday, and it was probably it was before COVID. So let's say 3 years ago, I remember going to a Hawks game. They were playing the Bucks, and I see this little kid in front of me with a Giannis jersey on. It was a back-to-back. Giannis wasn't playing, and the kid was like, all he could talk about was Giannis. You could see the looks on the parents' faces like, Jesus Christ. But you made the point yesterday, Holden. If you're a family in Milwaukee, Denver comes in once a year, you're a big fan of the game, and you're thinking, man, I'm going to get to see the reigning 2-time defending MVP, Nikola Jokic, against Giannis, a champion of a couple of years ago, MVP of 3 years ago, whatever it is. This is going to be great. It's going to be great. Middle of the day, none of the fucking Nuggets are playing that you would want to see. No offense meant to Aaron Gordon, who's playing the best basketball of his life, but people are going to that game to see Joker against Giannis, and even Giannis was like, fuck this. He played, but he didn't you could tell, he didn't put his whole heart into it.
So we're old guys, and we remember when everybody played. Now, the playoffs are expanded. So I kind of will give these guys, they're playing extra playoff games, but it still doesn't mean you should be taking games off. It just, and they're complaining about it, how we had to fly 1,100 miles from New Orleans to Milwaukee. You're fucking getting paid to play basketball games. Now we're too deep into this because the coaches and the players are already, coaches can say they don't like it, but whatever. It's total bullshit. They love it because they want to keep their guys healthy. Well, they don't love it, but they're fine with it. But when did this start becoming acceptable that these guys could just sit on their asses and not play? Like load management.
It started about 15 years ago.
People just consume it. They'll just take it. They'll say, oh, yeah, you're right. Wow. The players sure do get tired. They need a couple more days off. It's total bullshit is what it is. And go check the schedule. If the team's on a back-to-back, you don't go to that game to go see the star that's coming to town. And if not, you still hold your breath that hopefully this guy isn't going to be sitting on his ass. It sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with you. I think the first person to do it was Popovich about 15 years ago. And I think he even made a joke of it back then. I think it said DNP old next to Tim Duncan's name.
It's bullshit. So it's frustrating. Nonetheless, I mean, it is NBA DFS season for me with football just being in the playoffs now. It's a fun grind. It is a fun grind, but late swap, I'd be fine if they took it out. And I'm a guy during NFL that likes the late swap and stuff. But if they took that element out of it, I wish we just said it and then you don't forget it. But that's the way it is.
It's one of those problems that there's no real answer to, right? You saw it with MMA because, and someone tweeted this out today. I forget who it was. Some of the people who wanted the late swap were the biggest critics. And it was more so how the site handled it, how DraftKings handled it. And this isn't making light of the fact that it's a massive, I mean, people that haven't tried to deal with tech problems maybe don't get it. It's a massive tech issue to try and, when you have those fights scheduled 20, 25 minutes apart, to be able to lock, unlock, whatever. And they just couldn't do it. They decided they didn't want to spend whatever it was, right? But as soon as you remember, FanDuel did this. They took it away, and then they got people complaining. And they probably had the higher volume players who literally have, in some cases, teams of people sitting there making, calculations and changes throughout the slate. That probably was what moved the needle, but I don't know that there's any solution that's going to keep everybody happy. But this right now, I mean,
could the solution be there's just a late swap tournament and a non-late swap tournament? So guys like Holden and I can set it and forget it, and then guys like Mangone who want to grab that edge could join the late swap tourney.
I think FanDuel tried that, and you're going to have vastly different prize pools, right? You're going to have.
What do you think more people would play, late swap?
I don't think it matters because you split the field. So
it is an interesting thought, though, JT. Like, what is the preference, do you think, across the business? The sharper guys, the bigger guys in the business want the late swap.
Right. I would say it gives the guys like Mangone and JSU an edge because they can navigate that news in 10 minutes. We get some weird news at 5 o'clock and JSU's already calculated. That's why we love the final countdown, right?
Listen, I play every day, and I don't know what the answer is, because as much as I am talking, I'm talking about the issue in terms of what the NBA, because the NBA has these agreements where they're getting paid a lot of money, and teams are making money off of their deals with gaming companies, with DFS companies, right? There are nights I don't mind it, but that's a different thing where you say, okay, let's take, I don't know, it was a couple of nights ago, whatever. There was Joker was questionable, but it looked like he was going to sit, whatever it was, right? Murray was questionable. One of them was going to play, right? There's an edge there, and I don't mind that. What I mind is when every single time now, and this is a new thing this season, every player's injury is a game time decision. You have a situation like you have with the Pistons where 3 minutes before lock, not that they announced starters, Holden and Spread, they announced a completely fucking different starting lineup. Like just Killian Hayes was back, he's not starting, right? And so it's just Alec Burks is starting out of nowhere for the first time in 15 games. It's their right to do that, but you have to, I think, if you're going to have these deals with gaming companies, you have to give people a chance to adjust. The edge can't be, I'm going to throw a dart and guess who the hell these teams are starting.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It really is. Like, that's, and DFS has always tried to argue that it's not a game of luck, that it's a game of skill.
It becomes a complete game of chance when you have
a lot more
information.
You're right. It's kind of a necessity. Almost at this point, it's a necessity to have that. We missed being killed by an asteroid. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Is that over? Or are we?
By the way, an SUV-sized asteroid. How can that be an asteroid? That's like a flying rock. Is that really going to do that much after burning up in our atmosphere? No, nothing. Goddamn media. Getting everybody, or actually most people had no idea that the thing was.
I had no idea what you're talking about. And I don't know the answer to that question either. Yeah. I thought it was. By the time it burns up a little bit, the gravity gets a smaller asteroid could do a lot of damage.
Like, it's not going to be a gigantic SUV. It's not going to be SUV size when it hits. It's going to get burned up in the atmosphere. So it wouldn't be as big spread.
Maybe it would have been SUV size after it burned up, though. Maybe
we'd be fine. We'd be fine. There'd be some penguins that probably died wherever it hit. Maybe a tsunami or two. We'd be fine here.
Not if it hit your fucking city. I mean,
well, then you're done. But what are the chances of that? Very small.
Thousands of miles an hour.
Yeah, very small.
I don't know. If I was an asteroid, I'd want to take out Russell Wilson.
Are you sure we're safe?
What's that? Are we sure? I hope we're not, but it said it already came as close to what was it, 2,000 miles, which is very close. Yeah. Also, the big worry was the satellites. So if it hits one of the satellites up there, because this thing came inside of where all the satellites that carry the information, that was the internet's. Sure. That was the freak out stage, but no one's done. The party is coming up as well. I've not been to each of the first two of them. I have bought my ticket, though. I'm looking forward to it. DC and the coordinator trip said me, Mangone, and Holden on a road trip. To which I could not think of anything worse. Like, I literally could not think of anything worse than having to sit in a car for 15 hours with DC.
Would you rather get hit by an asteroid?
I would much rather be hit by an asteroid. And I'm not kidding. I'm slightly like Mangone. We could have a conversation once in a while.
Mangone will go to sleep.
He's 15 hours of snark.
I bet you Mangone would barely even talk. He would probably be just working. He'd probably have two laptops going at the same time.
Like, JT, is there anybody, pick any two people from RPS that you go on a 15-hour road trip with that you'd actually want to?
Two people that I would?
Yeah, because I would not go on a road trip with anybody. I'd say the same thing about anybody that I said about DC.
So I'll say this. I'll say this. I like Boynton a lot. Like Boynton would be included. He's got a dry sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he's sharp. You know, we could talk baseball for a while.
He's into pubes.
I mean, I don't know about that.
You should ask him about it then, because he always talks about it every time we see each other.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll make a note. But making a note right now. You can't see me, but I'm making a note. There's several other people that I would go.
Really?
I would with spread. I would, as long as I was armed and was able to defend myself from any spontaneous attack. I think would make us laugh, but then I also think that you'd take too many narcotics in the first 15 minutes and probably sleep the whole way. Actually,
I would take a nap.
It wouldn't even be too bad for you because you would be so high, you would just curl up and go to sleep.
No,
and then
that's not how it works, JT.
You'd be at your destination.
It's not how it works.
All right. I mean, if you say so.
Yeah. I mean, I know so.
All right. Well, sure.
Spread, would you want to? First of all, my hang up here is going on a road trip. Like anything more than 4 hours, and it's too much for me. Right?
Well, yeah.
4 hours is enough for me, JT. I can't, even in beautiful Colorado. Maybe you can get me 6 hours because there's some beautiful places here. But Spread, would you sit in a car with someone even for 12 hours from RPS?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds so uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'd go with Kurt. Imagine that adventure.
You gotta be shitting me.
Kurt's entertaining. He's entertaining.
Can you imagine? I mean, every time you stopped would be an adventure. You'd make friends with the cashier wherever you met. You know, I mean, if you were single, you would definitely go with Kurt. You'd probably have different people jumping in your car with you.
You may have guests. You may have guests. You may be able to fuck your way across the country.
Holden, if I were you, I would go with Tyler because he would just get just as stoned as you.
I don't want to. I don't want to go in a car with anybody. Nobody. The only car I want to be in is when Uncle T picks me up at the airport in his Mustang, and I hope it's raining because it's always adventurous being in a Mustang during the rain. But that's amazing. You guys like road tripping? Like, if you were given a choice, you would say, "Yeah, let's go road trip."
I mean, is strong. I don't have the aversion that you have to it.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's kind of fun.
Even with your hip flexors
you want, you could just get what's up.
Even with your hip flexors from sitting for so long, getting old.
Well, I mean, I probably would make it more days. I'd probably make it, like you said, 4 to 6 hours tops per day. I'd choose fun places to stop and spend the whole evening in different cities.
There you go. That's it.
I did that last time I went to Vegas. I drove halfway. So I drove 6 hours. I stayed in a little town called Bishop, California. The best steak in the town is at a bowling alley. I learned that at the hotel. And it was a great steak in a bowling alley, these are the type of things you can do. It was like a little... It looked like a Western town,
Okay, let me save this segment, Spread. You said that you wanted to lose weight to go to the RPS party to impress the dudes. Is that what it is? What?
It's more of a competitive thing. I know that we're going to be playing basketball, and I know that, unless I'm playing against one of you guys, I'm going to be giving up about 20 years. Mm-hmm. So I need to be in good shape.
Are you good at basketball?
No.
Oh yeah, you might as well just accept it though. I kind of feel like you just want to.
I'm still competitive though.
You're competitive.
Yeah, I still want to do that.
You can be competitive, but if you suck, you're not going to win, right?
I doubt it. I think 29-year-old me could do pretty good though.
So I have a question. Spread, how tall are you?
6'1".
Okay. All right. As JSU said, he thinks I'm 5'6".
Yeah, I didn't know you were only 5'6".
I know. I'm a midget. Yeah.
You looked. I mean, I feel like you'd be a lot taller than 5'6", though. But it's all right. I don't think it's anything to make fun of you about.
No, I am actually a little bit more than half a foot taller than 5'6". But
are you really?
Yeah. And what's
5'11"?
No, I'm taller than that. What's more insulting is that I've met JSU, and I love JSU.
Yeah.
And I don't mind. Like I don't make fun of people's height because they can't control it. It's
just call him a midget, nothing.
Who cares? He's fine. His height is fine. He doesn't look awkward. He's great. And I'm upset that he didn't remember the experience as well as I did.
How high up on your body does he come? Like when he's looking at you, is it directly at your chest? If he's looking straight ahead, how tall is he?
Yeah, I don't remember that. But I don't remember him being smaller than he is. Like I'm not gonna belittle him by saying that he's half a foot smaller than he is.
Yeah. Well, he's really 5'4", right? Maybe 5'5".
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number.
Okay, well, I'll just say this: he is the perfect man, though. Like it's the only thing we can make fun of him for is his height, because everything else about him is so perfect.
Fantastic. He's just a great dude.
No, yeah. So he's like, can we make something fun of something else? We're like, no, we can't. It's really all we got on you, dude.
Got nothing.
Nothing. Spread. You ready to get into the show and talk some football? So
yeah, and I think I'm going to have better luck making the lineup this time, Holden. Yeah. You might have been right. That might not have worked well for me.
I'm telling you, I'm building my lineup around. It's just gonna be Mahomes and Kelsey will be my number one.
That's gonna be yours. I was kind of thinking of going a different stack. So.
Well, good. Then you're probably
the opposite
win.
stack. But the great thing is we can make more than one. So
JT,
let's just see how this one does.
What's your favorite quarterback receiver pairing this week, regardless of price or anything? What's the favorite one you got?
Oh man, I think for me, when I think about what CeeDee Lamb was able to do against the 49ers secondary, and we know if trends and strengths stay true to norms, that it's going to be really difficult to run against the 49ers, then you have to be somewhat interested in A.J. Brown. In Hurts and A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's $7K, just 200 more than Devonta Smith. The challenge this week is going to be to find how to get, because there's not a lot of differences in ownership, right? Do we really want to chase Kadarius Toney? Some of these cheaper plays, and it's how do you build a balanced lineup that are guys that are going to get the bulk of the volume, right? So, I mean, that's kind of for me. If I'm looking at one, I'm looking at Hurts. I'm looking at A.J. Brown, because Hurts has shown us this year. People still kind of believe him to be more of this. Oh, he's a straight rushing quarterback. He's been good. He's been good in terms of his route recognition, in terms of his openness recognition. He's been good in terms of accuracy this season. He's got another week where he really didn't have to do that much work last week because they just walloped the Giants. And I think KC and Cincinnati is going to be really, really competitive. Not that I don't think Philly and San Fran is, but it just seems like a chance to be a little bit faster paced game there.
Hurts is probably going to be the most popular. It doesn't matter. It's a 2-game slate. You're going to get.
Is that what it is? I'm just looking at it. It's close. It's close.
A.J. Brown's going to be the leading wide receiver this week. I'm buying into the narrative. I'm going on down narrative streak this week. He's upset. Or he wasn't upset. He was just talking about how it's like, I need more catches. I need more balls coming my way. Because he really did nothing in that first round. What was it? The Giants?
Yeah.
But before that, Smith has really been my guy in DFS from that team. But this A.J. Brown week, he's blowing up. 100 yards, touchdown. How about you, Spread? What are you looking at? What's your favorite pairing?
Yeah, maybe we're opposite on the Chiefs Bengals game. Holden, I'm going to go Burrow Chase.
Cool.
My idea is that I think these are the two weaker defenses. I think that you're right. Both the 49ers and the Eagles have better defense. So I'm choosing the game with the weaker defenses, and then you're picking a side. I don't know what to make of Mahomes. Now, you follow the beat reports more than I do, Holden. What are you hearing about Mahomes and as far as his health? Is he going to be
playing? He's
okay,
playing. Yeah, and he's not going to be. I mean, listen, we all have seen videos of him walking and jogging. It's all bullshit. We'll find out when the game starts. You want to bet this game? Go bet this game live. Go see how Mahomes looks early.
But, I'm going to bet the Bengals regardless.
Yeah.
Because I just figure I like the Bengals even before that injury, assuming that they advanced past Buffalo. I thought they looked great against the Bills, and I think they have a great opportunity. They've had the Chiefs number in the past, and Burrow's just a guy I believe in. So I was going with Burrow Chase as my stack to start.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go through all the quarterbacks, JT, and we can start whichever one you would like to start with this week. But again, my guy's Mahomes, 7,600. A hobbled Mahomes. I think they're going to have to play a little catch up, to be honest with you. 1 through 4 quarterback. What do you think, JT?
Man, yeah. I would say Burrow is underpriced here compared to the other guys. So Burrow, Hurts. We don't know about Mahomes, right? We don't know. I mean, this defense has given him fits at times before. They looked really, really good against Josh Allen. If he's limited and can't run, and that allows them to sit back in that cover 4 that has given him problems in the past, and basically bracket Travis Kelce, which they've done in the past. Then what else are they going to do? I mean, then you've got Juju, Kadarius, I guess McKinnon coming out of the backfield. And then Brock Purdy, man. I mean, 5,300 on DraftKings. But at some point, don't you guys think the wheels are going to fall off? The stage is going to be a little bit too big. And maybe it doesn't. But, man, this Eagles defense has made some pretty good quarterbacks look really mediocre. So that's my thought.
Okay, cool. Brock Purdy. So this is the thing about Purdy. Every week, Brock Purdy, this is the week it's going to happen. This is the defense that's going to happen. It just hasn't happened yet.
Right.
They kind of protect him well too. They run the ball. I mean, it's McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell's involved. Deebo Samuel will get a couple of carries. So they've done a good job. I don't want to say they're hiding him, but he is the game manager out of the 4 that we're going to see. What do you think, spread quarterback? You want to back Burrow? Who's 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah, I like JT's list. And just to talk about Purdy, even if he doesn't do good this week, I don't think it's a referendum on him. I just think this Eagles defense is really good, right? So we saw some of those overreactions. I don't know if they were overreactions. I mean, did you see Dak was catching a lot of heat for that poor performance against the 49ers? That's one of the best defenses in the league. I don't know if you move on from your $40 million quarterback just because he struggled against Joey Bosa and company. But yeah, I agreed with JT's assessment, especially Burrow. That was the guy I want to start with every single time. And then if you're, multi-entry, Jalen Hurts is the one I want to have the second most exposure to. And I guess I'm fine fading Mahomes. The idea that he could sink your lineup if he's not there and he's out by the second quarter, there goes my Sunday, right? So. Yeah. I wonder if that makes him a lot lower owned too. So that's where I guess we will I said we don't have to wait for the news. You can try and do a little bit of scouting. I hate playing doctor on TV though, but maybe watch a little bit of warm up, see how he looks. Although no, that's the second game, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
You'll play all 4. You'll have lineups with all 4 quarterbacks in them.
Okay.
Everyone expects that that first game is going to be a little bit quieter, and that's kind of why I like the idea of at least playing a little bit on the Philly side, because I give them the advantage at the quarterback position, which is pretty big. I think the defenses are fairly even there. I think running is going to be hard. And, I'm going to give them the coaching advantage just because of my bias against Kyle Shanahan. I'll admit that, but I'll give Philly the coaching advantage.
Interesting. Yeah. All
right. Running back. We're down to two. We're down to 2 games. So this is what you get. So I'll start here, JT, is CMC. Like, how much are you going to be exposed to CMC this week? Mixon, CMC, Mixon, maybe McKinnon bounces back. P. Ryan was a nice call by Tony last week. Pacheco's getting a little bit of work. Miles Sanders is in there. Who's your top 2 or 3 guys at running back?
It's tough because, McCaffrey at 8K, if you want Travis Kelce, which I don't know that I do right now, this early in the week, even though 17 targets last week, all of a sudden you're sacrificing pretty quickly unless you want to pay down all the way to Purdy. I haven't tried to build lineups yet, but McCaffrey's definitely playing. McCaffrey these are the games that they got him for, right? They got him because he's the best. He's the best in the game. He's the best running back in the game, right? With his weapons outside of or pass catching ability. I think I'd go this week McKinnon over Pacheco because since he's been a little bit tougher to run on. Miles Sanders at 52. I just don't see how Philly has a lot of success running the ball here. Teams haven't had a lot of success running the ball against San Francisco all year. Mixon 6,500. It's been a good matchup, but they do like P. Ryan, and P. Ryan's all the way down to 4,500. So you could save a couple grand in some lineups. You're also going to get a massive ownership discount. Not saying that P. Ryan's going to take over the volume, but that they're not just going to grind Mixon all game, right? They're going to 2-3 downs and out, 2-3 downs and out. So I think there's a really good chance that P. Ryan, of any of the lower priced guys, gets to pop one in the end zone or in the red zone, or maybe gets a little bit of an extended run.
I like that. Boston Scott was my guy last week, and he had a lot of success against the Giants. I don't think Boston Scott's really going to be a guy we're going to see that much of this week, so I'm not going to go buy back into that one. Pacheco's getting work, though. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I would think, would be back for the Super Bowl. They were saying he could be back this week, but it was also a long shot. But Pacheco's getting some run, too. I could see him getting a dozen, 12, 14, 15 carries in this game. Because they're going to run the ball more, aren't they, guys? Are they going to run the ball a little bit more, at least you would think, with Mahomes' lack of maneuverability? Talk to me about this.
Regardless of
for you,
regardless of how he is, even if he's close to 100%, I would expect
that they 100%.
I would think that regardless that they're going to run a lot the first couple series, and at least try, to shorten the game a bit, get them out there, used to the movements. Now, what happens after that, probably depends on the success they have trying to run the ball right up the front. But I would expect to see more running than we're used to from an Andy Reid team in the first 2 series.
JT?
I could see a path where both of these coaches try and shorten the game and try and keep the opposing offense off the field. But, if the Bengals have any sense that Mahomes is compromised in any way, then I think they may take some shots early. So if Kansas City gets behind, then I think you're going to see a lot of really short passes, which you start looking at McKinnon, you start looking at some of these other guys on Kansas City. I do think they're going to try and really, unlike whatever the fuck Jacksonville called that defense against Travis Kelce, try and at least keep him limited.
All right. Spread, any more thoughts on running backs?
No, I think this is the toughest position. I want to spend up for wide receivers this week.
Yeah. Well,
do you agree? Do you guys agree? I think the wide receiver spend-ups are much more attractive.
I feel like that's the way it's been for weeks on end. These are the guys that are just busting the slates at this point. By the way, like button on YouTube if you're watching us, and make sure you use the code Holden15. JT, I'm just kidding. At this point, you get my votes for whatever 15.
Creativity. My creativity wins it. By the way, did you see this? I'm not upset by it. I'm flattered.
Yeah.
I'm flattered. Last Friday, I decided to lean into the code, and I put my name up there as JT Hayes 15, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've obviously expanded on it, by the way, code JT Hayes 15. If you're the 250th subscriber on Friday of the week, I'm going to pay for a year of your DFS package.
Okay.
And if the 250th subscriber is not someone that uses that code, I'm going to pick the closest one to it.
But have you gotten 10 yet?
Give them a couple of months. What?
Have you gotten 10 yet?
I don't know. I have a bunch. But anyway, here's the thing. So I put the code up, and I see on Twitter, because I don't play DFS hockey, Austin Nadesify. He just got his code as his name, and I'm flattered because he took my marketing idea and he used it. But I just wish, Holden, I wish Spread. I wish that there was a little more fucking creativity here, and everybody didn't have to steal my ideas.
You should always take it as a
compliment. Oh, wait, what idea did he steal?
Jesus Christ.
Spread, were you looking at murder websites again?
No, I'm making my second lineup. I already finished the first one.
Spread was buying a new property because the other one.
No, but what was the idea to have your name? I thought it was all of our names 15.
The shallow grave.
You don't even like being called JT Hayes, but now your name is JT Hayes. Fuck that. You're JT Hayes.
No, I'm not.
You're no more JT. You're JT Hayes.
Not. This is what happened. I explained this.
You are. You're JT Hayes 15 from here on out.
I like the JT.
So wait, was the idea that you were going to pay for somebody's year? Is that the idea that he stole?
That's the idea. If they're the 250th subscriber, never mind.
Hold on, he stole the exact number.
No, not that. He put his name up. He put his name up as his code. And nobody at that. Whatever. You know what? It's really difficult to converse with you guys sometimes. But listen. Spread is looking up a new property because the shallow graves in the first one have all been filled.
No, I already finished my first lineup, and I'm trying to rebuild it and decide.
You better hurry up. You only got 4 days to lock.
Yeah.
You better get that done.
Get going, buddy.
I just got excited because I was struggling with the running back position, and you kind of gave me me a little nudge here.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about Miles Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
JT didn't like that, so I took him out. Helped me, McKinnon or Pacheco. Made that decision for me. I mean, this lineup's just coming together. I'm already ready to hit number 2.
Okay. Well, we got to talk about wide receiver.
Don't even bother entering people.
It's over.
Good. It's over.
But
don't even bother entering.
No, so, enter because we're going to have cores up and a playbook. And if you're not a member, JT 15 gets you in.
So JT Hayes 15.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, to me, is going to be the highest owned wide receiver, right? And AJ Brown is 600 less on DraftKings. But do you think we're going to have a late week swell or a weekend swell here where everybody's starting to buy into the AJ Brown narrative like I am right now? Or they just be like, all right, fuck it, let's go Brown? Especially if Hurts is the most popular quarterback. Talk to me here. Wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm showing Brown as right about third, fourth. There's a cluster of 4 led correctly, as you said, by Jamar Chase at 47.5 projected ownership right now percent.
Probably Debo. Debo's too cheap again.
Yeah, Debo is 37. T. Higgins 5,400, very cheap, 36. Then you've got AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. Ayuk at 4,400. Is interesting. That's just very cheap. Juju at 47. Juju really has been. I mean, it's not so much Juju because I think we blame Juju, right? He has dropped a lot of balls this season, but if you think about it this way, if you think that the Bengals are going to try and take away Kelsey or limit Kelsey, then Mahomes is going to have to look elsewhere. So now you're looking at Juju at 4,700. You're looking at Valdez-Scantling at 3,600. That's tough. Tony's a guy. They haven't really gotten him involved in terms of targets, but they have gotten him involved in the running game, and gimmick plays, he's 3,700. Tyler Boyd is 3,800. He looks like he's going to be 24% owned. And then the rest of these guys, it's just tough. It's tough to play Juwan Jennings, right? Well, what's the volume there? What's actually – you need Juwan Jennings or Quez Watkins to really break one. We'll see. Mecole Hardman may be available. He's 3,500. So, yeah. But for me, I think I go A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Ayuk is probably a pretty contrarian receiver core. And remember, this is the playoffs. So, outside of what Jacksonville did and whatever the Giants did, I think, and Dallas for that matter, I think these coaches are going to hone in on guys like Chase. Not that he can't beat the matchup, right? But I like the plays. I like those plays.
Yeah. So AJ Brown, Debo, those will be the higher owned guys. Quez can't always break one. But I just go back to Mahomes at the beginning of the season. It's been true. He's like, sorry, fantasy people. There's just going to be a new wide receiver every week. So why not just narrow it down to the two guys Mahomes and Kelsey. I'm sure it'll be kind of a popular pairing, but
Kelsey is
you get different elsewhere. I know you're against Kelsey. I'm all over Kelsey. It's
no, I'm not against him. I'm not against him. But
like in his last 8 games, he's got at least 8 catches, at least 95 yards, and I think he scored a touchdown in 7 of those 8 in the playoffs. Just Mahomes just peppers him, man. Just peppers them, and they find ways to get it open because they know that's the most important thing. Maybe they'll say running the ball is most
last year in the playoffs against Cincinnati, 7 targets, 5 catches for 25 yards and a touchdown.
Well, yeah, so they scored a touchdown that game, huh? That was the one game
that was week 17. Week 17. I'm wrong on that.
Playoff one.
What?
Where's this playoff one?
So last year in the playoffs against Cincinnati, 11 targets, 10 for 95 and 1.
Yeah.
But he was 6,500. Now he's 7,800. And you've got George Kittle at 5,200.
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert at 4,100.
You play 2 tight ends.
Hayden Hurst that's been the winning formula.
Yeah.
These last couple of weeks. Hayden Hurst at 3K. Hayden Hurst at 3K that's interesting. That's interesting.
Hayden Hurst popped up on the injury report today with a calf. It's unfortunate because I already bet his over 3.5 receptions, but hopefully he's fine. Any thoughts at tight end?
He's not compromised, so you can win.
Spread?
Oh, I want to ask JT a question. Right? Great job, right? And it's like, I get this Sunday YouTube show right now. So I already built one lineup, right? So I got my little Burrow Chase stack, right?
All right.
Is it crazy if I were to run a Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devontae Smith stack? And my idea would be like, hey, what if that game blows out? What if the Eagles are just that much better than the 49ers? Or is that just like trying to hit a 3-team parlay and it's just really not worth the investment?
Man, I'm taking a look at the 49ers road games because I'm still kind of like, was that game in Vegas where they won 37-34? Was that an anomaly or was that a letdown game or was that? But then you look and outside of the division, right? And outside of the game against, like they lost at Atlanta, 28-14. They did win in Carolina, but that was early in the season when they were just terrible. They lost at Chicago week 1. And the way to beat the Niners is through the air. So I think that would be a very contrarian stack. I mean, maybe not Brown and Smith, but maybe one of those guys and Dallas Goedert, right?
Yeah, I was almost thinking Goddard is the way to build. I know Holden loves Kelsey, but at 4,100, and that's the Niners' weakness is against tight end.
I'll just go. I'm going to go double tight end in a lot of lineups again.
Oh, I guess if you go double tight end, you can go Kelsey Goddard. Yeah. That's fine. There's great options. I would also like the double tight end with Kittle. I think he's been one of Purdy's most popular targets, and usually rookie quarterbacks do like tight ends. So Yeah, I think double tight end might be the way to go here. So, all right. So, boy, that's so tough, though. So then if you're saying that's probably not the best way to approach it, you're going to have to make that A.J. Devontae decision in each lineup. They're about the same price. You know,
$200 difference.
On all these builds that I'm making right now, I'm always leaving money on the table. So it's to me, the price is out the window on that decision.
Yeah. As it should, right? I mean, you're not like trying to get, I got to get 50, right? So it's not a situation where if you have Smith and you have money left, you're like, oh, I can get up to, no, you're trying to take advantage of the leverage of getting that particular receiver right. One of the things that I might do, speaking of Kansas City, is I definitely don't think I want any more than one Kansas City receiver in any lineup, right? Notwithstanding Kelsey, but like I don't want to line up with Juju and MVS, I don't think. Unless you're going to go full onslaught, this game is the wildest outcome possible, and Kansas City just rolls.
Mm-hmm.
My thought.
And I don't. So rank the teams in blowout potential. I'd say Philly has the highest blowout potential. Cincinnati's number 2. And that would be, hey, Mahomes is out by quarter 2, right? And it's Joe Burrow versus Chad Henne. Then, I don't know, do you think San Francisco could blow out the Eagles? I just don't see that. I think I'd put KC at 3 just because the offense is so good. And I'd say San Francisco has the lowest blowout potential of the 4 teams this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So my favorite guys would be Kelsey, Brown, and then if you really want to get leverage on everybody playing Kelsey, you go Noah Gray. That'll be my diamond in the rough at 2,500. See if Noah Gray gets in the end zone. I'll probably have, if I play 8 lineups this week, I'll have one of those where I just fade Kelsey and play Noah Gray and build a completely different build with a min-price tight end.
This is why I think Gray is interesting, is because of the attention that I think Cincy is going to give to Kelsey, because he's the clear number 1 target. It's not even close. And they've shown a propensity, Kansas City, to put sometimes 3 tight ends on the field at once. And Gray is the guy that's kind of got the targets. I don't know that I would go to, any of these other guys. You've got, Blake Bell. I mean, not.
The other side, Mitchell Wilcox had a couple catches too lately. You can at least look at him. But again, that would be a K Phallic move right there. Just play a cheap tight end.
I mean, listen, definitely if Hurst, is questionable going into the weekend. I mean, look, when Hurst was out, weeks 15 and 16, 9 targets combined. The guy is 2,500. And could it happen at 2,500? Could he get in the box? Could he get enough? I mean, 10 points from one of your lower price guys on this slate. I think the winner last week had like Cole Beasley or something with a 6. So
yeah,
you get one of those guys, you get everything else right, you're in good shape.
Yeah, you're right. Spread some final thoughts, and then we're gonna get out of here, dude.
No, I think this is a fun slate, and I can't wait to see where these guys land on Sunday. I'll try not to have too many lineups built by that point, JT, but hey, it's always fun to have them, and then I see what you guys are saying on the morning show and catch the cores and the playbooks and make my changes there. But no, that's about it, man. I think this is a lot of fun. I think that this actually helped me a lot. I think, JT, you helped me keep off those Philly running backs. To me, the script that changes the slate crazy the most is a Philly blowout. And so that's where I was trying just to get different exposure.
Well, so Spread, let's stick with that thought in a minute, because the price on Sanders is tempting, right? 5,200 on DraftKings.
Yeah.
But I think the only way he gets there is if they're up like 18 points in the fourth quarter, late in the third, and they're just determined, hey, we're going to run some clock, and maybe he breaks one because it's been a tough day for the Niners defense, and he breaks one, and he gets to 15, 18 points, whatever it is, right? That's possible, but that's a script, right? And a lot of this, I think, in this round in particular, you're going to have your lineups where you want to play. This is the best play at each position, points per dollar, whatever. But I also think, when we've seen these 2-game slates, the winners generally have often been playing a script, right? I'm going to play that this happens, and you've got a combination that just nobody else has.
Yeah, you take a stand on a game, like, for example,
right. You say, hey,
it's only Thursday. It's only Thursday, but hey, right now my script that I think could get me different is a Philly blowout.
Right.
And I know it only happens 20% of the time, but I could probably have a nice little score if it does happen.
And so you do that, right? And here's the way to do that, right? Because Philly's defense is 2,800. And everyone's focused, the Niners offense is great. Well, what if it is that if you time, this is the time, this is the stage that's too big for Purdy, this is the defense that can scheme for him, and you go with Hurts, Sanders, 2 receiving options in the defense, and that happens, you're way ahead of the field.
Yeah. And then if for whatever reason you get the slower script in the other games, right? Reed wants to run more with Mahomes. Zach Taylor's been more prone to run the ball, right? Hey, get Mixon involved. You can see that making sense. That turns into like, 28-23 or, something that's not ridiculous in the other game. That's how I see that maybe that lineup could get.
Well, the other point that's good along those lines, and I know that Holden looks like he wants to crawl into a sleeping bag right now, but
I'm building a lineup.
Oh, yeah. Is that what you're doing? Right. But the other thing is,
join me, Holden. It's never too early.
This is the 4th time in the last couple of years that the Bengals and the Chiefs have played each other. They are much more familiar in real game contests with each other than the Eagles and the Niners.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
And so they kind of know, hey, if we get down, we're going to be screwed, right? Whereas the Niners and the Eagles, both these teams coming in with a lot of bravado, but the Eagles have to have the advantage. I mean, home field advantage in Philly, the better quarterback, in my opinion, the better receiving core, definitely not the better running back. And I think defense is kind of even. So
I think they have a better offensive line. I think this is one of the few times that the Niners roll into a game where their defense might not be better and they don't have the advantage on the offensive line. And so we'll see. It's easy to make your schemes look good when every single block is made, right? Yeah. And the Niners have great blocking schemes, right? I mean, Juice Check, that's why he gets so much attention. He helps out the other running backs a lot. But this could, be the time where they meet their match. Like, wait a second, we're not winning in the trenches in this game, and that could be the difference. And
these West Coast teams going all the way to the East Coast, that loss or that loss in Atlanta, the loss opening day to Chicago, it could come back to haunt the 49ers here.
Okay, boys. Spread, wonderful to see you. JT Hayes 15, wonderful to see you as well. I'm Holden, and tell everybody about the Wishbone Pod. Make sure you sign up using the code JT Hayes 15, JT Hayes 15 +1.
No, +1 is